And we're funding the company for merchandise sales. So thank you for anyone who's bought our flamethrower. You will not be sorry, or maybe you will. It won't be boring.
That's what the free market. I don't mean to have it in black and white. It's like it's not so long ago. They didn't even have color cameras back then. It was 2010.
How fresh are you flowers?
Sorry?
How fresh are you flowers?
Oh, you mean my kid?
Yeah.
That sounds like a password. Yeah, he's great.
Why don't you have Solar City providing your electricity?
This is a little sad. The reason we don't have solar power right now is that Tesla is not yet a good enough credit. I know this sounds ridiculous.
Do you want to see the car? Yeah! Well, we don't have it for you tonight. I'm just kidding, of course. It's April Fool's somewhere. All right, let's bring him out.
Everyone in this room is inspired by you. Who are you inspired by?
Well, Kanye West, obviously. So what do you say?
The plane thing is not a good idea in my view. The plane, and the reason I think is, like, intuitively it seems like a plane should work, but actually if you consider that really every mode of transport has a design that is appropriate to its medium. And if you're in space, wings are not very useful because there's no air. And then if you want to go somewhere other than Earth, there's also no runways. So these are important considerations.
We need some volunteers to be colonists. Do we have any colonist volunteers here for Mars?
Actually, not many hands raised, by the way.
What's the actual biggest failure that you've gone through to get to where you are?
Question? I mean, we blew up 3 rockets in the beginning.
Where you're selling your houses, you say you don't want any material possessions, and I've been seeing all that, and I've been really excited to talk to you about this.
I think possessions kind of weigh you down. They're kind of an attack vector. You know, people say, "Hey, billionaire, you got all this stuff." Like, well, now I don't have stuff. Now what are you going to do? The boost stage, which is about 70% of the cost of the rocket. So
which cost is that? How much is that?
Well, I mean, it's sort of on the order of $30 to $35 million.
Right. So you want to save that?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I tell my team, it's like imagine there was a pallet of cash that was plummeting through the atmosphere, and it was going to burn up and smash into tiny pieces. Would you try to save it?
Right.
Probably yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Do you think there is other intelligent life outside the Earth?
It seems probable, but I think this is one of the great questions in physics and philosophy, is where are the aliens? Maybe they're among us, I don't know. Some people think I'm an alien. Not true.
But maybe we are aliens.
Of course I'd say that,
maybe
wouldn't
we
I?
are aliens.
No, people are nervous and they're worried. You are aware of that. So knowing that, why would you do an April Fool's joke that you did?
Oh, because there were all these media articles saying that Tesla's going bankrupt.
Yes.
So I thought, well, I'll just do an April Fool's joke that we did go bankrupt.
But Elon, that's not funny when people are nervous.
I mean, it's April Fool's. People should, like, lighten up, okay?
So, siamo qui con Elon Musk.
Visitate Firenze.
Great.
Should tax things that are most likely to be bad rather than, you know, like that's why we tax cigarettes and alcohol, because those are probably bad for you. Certainly cigarettes are.
What is this? The largest rocket, the largest building? I mean,
well, I mean, I think it's not scale for scale's sake. It's just like if you say, well, we want to accomplish these goals, then you kind of have to make a big thing. So,
okay.
Where do you sleep tonight?
Tonight's in the factory.
In the factory, not in a hotel.
Well, technically in a conference room in the factory, but yeah.
You sleep in a conference room in the not finished factory tonight?
Yeah, it gives me a good feel for what's going on.
Alone or?
Yeah, I assume so. Is this an invitation? Yeah.
Okay.
Finally, you're obviously a very competitive person. You're competing with the likes of Jeff Bezos in...
Jeff who?
I have to watch my jokes here. Not everyone gets irony, you know. Must remember.
How do I sign up to test out your neural net program?
Well, you just put this USB-C port in your head, and and then don't worry.
I'm in.
It'll be fine. Right. I tried learning the violin.
Yeah.
That's, by the way, a hard thing to learn.
Yeah. I mean, launching rockets, electric cars,
yeah.
Revolutionizing transportation. Yeah. That's
I cannot play the violin at all. Very horrible.
Okay, we saw the movie. We saw what happened. He got back.
Yeah. So it was good. I actually enjoyed the movie. So.
Do you think he could have gotten back like that? Was that plausible?
Well, I thought there was some connection. It was like 80% scientifically correct.
Okay.
But there did connect a series of improbable events.
Such as?
Well, I mean, I don't think you can sort of just take off from Mars on an unguided rocket, really, and then prick your finger on the spacesuit and navigate to a spaceship. Right? Yeah. Not impossible, just extremely unlikely. It's really just the cost of building the tunnels, but really, a tunnel's a hole in the ground. Like, how hard can it really be? I mean, just.
I think Mars should really have great bars. The Mars bar.
In terms of production, the thing that's going to be the major challenge for us over the next 6 to 9 months is how do we build a huge number of cars. And frankly, we're going to be in production hell. Welcome. Welcome to production hell. Crazy car to have as a daily driver, particularly on the 405.
So, but I understand when you got it.
Yeah.
You're driving down 280, and you wrecked it.
No, well.
And let me just tell the story, and then you can correct it. Because the story's great, and I hope it's true.
Let's see if the story that you tell is actually how that compares to the reality, because the reality is pretty messed up.
So hopefully the reality's better. So you wrecked the car. You get out of the car. You're doubling over with laughter, and the person with you said, "Why are you laughing that you just wrecked this car?" And you said, "No, you don't know the funny part. It wasn't insured."
Well. The punchline's correct.
I'm curious, this may be an odd question, but one that I find fascinating. As you think here today back to your younger self, is there any advice you wish you could have given your younger self with hindsight, given what you know now?
Well, I mean, I give like a lot of advice.
Going back to Mars, what kind of government do you envision for the first Martian colony?
So we have to be careful
and what's your title?
Yeah, exactly. Emperor or God Emperor? I don't know. It might be too much. I don't know. You have to watch my jokes here. Not everyone gets irony, you know. Must remember.
If there's ever sort of a apocalyptic scenario of some kind, hypothetically, you just press the bioweapon defense mode button. This is a real button. Yeah, we're trying to be a leader in apocalypse.
There have been 3 flights so far, and each one has obviously the goal is to get into orbit. Each one has sort of not made it. How did you deal with the...
Well, we got to space.
Okay, you got to space, but it didn't... You didn't get where you wanted to go.
Not all the way.
Sorry.
Well, you know,
so, but
you didn't necessarily go all the way on the first few dates.
SpaceX has...
Oh my God, dude. So fucking dead.
Jesus.
So
Wait, is that a
fucking
real
dead.
picture?
I think that's a real photo of a deer that probably jumped into a pool and then just fucking thrashed around and drowned. So that's
Jeez, is that true?
That's delightful.
What is that actually? That actually happened.
Of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of how like just.
Oh my God.
How do you plan a business where you know the rocket business? You know some of these things are going to blow up on the launch pad. How does the business plan work?
I don't really have a business plan.
What would be your mediocre superpower? Now, this is absurd to ask you because Tony Stark is partially modeled after you.
Right.
So you actually are sort of have real. So we were asking you
But
to
he doesn't technically have a
downgrade.
superpower, I guess, except like inventing technology or something.
Right. So we're sort of asking you to downgrade from that a bit. So an example of a mediocre superpower would be one of the best ones we've ever gotten is this guy who wished to temporarily detach his arm while spooning with a girl. Sometimes it's staying.
That's what he wants to do with a girl?
That's awesome.
Room for improvement.
The point of doing this is to just give the hardcore smackdown to gasoline cars.
When you think of kind of, never know, but, when you look at games and the games you play now, I mean, what are the things you want to see in games that don't happen right now? Is there anything that, like, when you play a game, you're like, I wish it did this, or I wish you're obviously thinking about, lots of things, but when you play games, are you satisfied, or are there things that frustrate you about games? What do you want to see games do in the future?
I don't know if I should say.
Yeah.
Even the base Model 3 will do 0 to 60 miles an hour or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in less than 6 seconds. At Tesla, we don't make slow cars. Okay.
What's a dream house for Elon Musk? Like some Tony Stark type shit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you gotta have the dome that opens up with the stealth helicopter and that kind of thing,
Yeah.
But just in terms of how to think about a life trajectory, perhaps, or how to pursue your passions.
I mean, I'm reasonably happy with how things turned out. So it's like.
Touche.
Not terrible.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just don't know how you manage your time. I don't understand it. It doesn't even seem humanly possible. What would you call yourself?
I'm a business magnet. Can someone please change my Wikipedia page to magnet?
They'll change it right now.
Please
It's
change
probably
it
already changed.
It's locked. So somebody has to be able to unlock it and change it to magnet.
Someone will get
I want
that.
to be a magnet.
Hi, my name is Rahul Sanad from Los Angeles, and I have a Tesla watch.
We do not make Tesla watches, I should point out.
It's electric. But
So I actually went to Russia 3 times to look at buying a refurbished ICVM. Because that was the best deal. And I can tell you it was very weird going there in late 2001, 2002, going to the Russian rocket forces and saying, I'd like to buy 2 of your biggest rockets, but you can keep the nuke.
0% of the prediction are right. They're right because by accident.
Yeah, but it's also true that 80% of statistics are false.
Yeah. So my meaning is
Cold
that
room. Come on, guys. That was a joke.
And a few years ago, people were laughing at you. Now, not so much. I mean,
You working on a game too?
No.
Okay.
No. But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, a bit more R-rated. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, here's a good one. Look.
The cat ate the melon.
Yeah, and now it looks.
The cat ate a
look at that
watermelon.
cat.
Now it looks like a watermelon.
Now the cat looks like a fucking watermelon. Are you kidding me? Good luck with all this footage.
Well, where will Tesla be in 10 years? Mars. Exactly. What's important here is, survives a nuclear explosion, or you get a full refund.
Corey, if you didn't know.
It was like Mr. Hollywood's walked into town.
Okay.
And it was like, well, you know.
Do I seem Hollywood?
Maybe.
This
is pretty great.
Yeah, this is the queen.
Have you seen this one?
I saw it earlier today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Be aware she can move in any direction.
The queen is very powerful.
I like that she's standing perfectly in that black square.
Yeah.
And it makes you think she's gonna just only step into squares, like almost like Cubert.
She's with a bishop.
Oh, she's with a bishop.
Yes. And the bishop.
So this is like a game of chess.
Yes.
Essentially. And notice he's also on a black square.
Yes. A queen and a bishop.
A quote from one of your former employees, which I thought really summed up a lot of what you have achieved. He said, he is Werner Braun Braun, Howard Hughes, Henry Ford, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and every other badass rolled into one.
Yeah, that's probably a bit generous.
But any natural resource extraction on Mars would be, the output would be for Mars. Like, it definitely wouldn't make sense to transport stuff 200 million miles back to Earth. You know, honestly, like if you had like crack cocaine on Mars, like in pre-packaged, you know, pallets, it still wouldn't make sense to transport it back here. Maybe good times for the Martians, but not back here.
Young people globally who want to be like Elon Musk. What's your advice to them?
I think that probably they shouldn't want to be.
You?
I think it sounds better than it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as much fun being me as you'd think. I don't know.
You don't think so?
No. There's definitely, it could be worse for sure, but it's, I'm not sure I want to be me.
Okay.
But if you could power the entire United States with about, let's say, 150 to 200 square kilometers of solar panels. The entire United States. Take a corner of Utah. Not much going on there. I've been there.
Hi, Elon. I'm John Younger, and I have to say,
pour some more wine here.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, this is going to get better and better as the.
It is.
What would have happened if the fourth one hadn't worked?
We would have failed. Yeah.
But let's talk about one of the failures were spectacular. I would go out to the island, Kwajalein with Elon, and seeing giant exploding rockets is quite an amazing sight. And I was one of the early investors in SpaceX, and I said, you know what? If all I get to do is to see these rockets explode, well worth every dime I put into this company.
There's something to be said about brotherly support.
We were first talking about the concept, you know, tunnels feel like a resolutely old school solution to a problem.
I'm sad that I invented tunnels.
But, you know, to push that metaphor even more, are you afraid that whoever's hosting the race could tilt the race in favor of the Chinese racer?
I'm trying to figure out if there's any way to answer that question and not lose.
And then transforming that into some sort of a biological state. Like you could hang out with 30-year-old you.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
That's so weird.
There's a lot of people, some of them citizen scientists, some of them they're just newbies when it comes to tracking things in space. They're going to try and track the Tesla and understand what's happening to it. You know, like that movie, Dude, Where's My Car? And other than the live webcam today, what is SpaceX going to do to interact with this community of Tesla trackers once the car leaves orbit? Do you have a plan, or are you just going to kind of wait and see what bubbles up on the internet and react to it?
We don't have a plan. No plan. It's a car that is designed for you to have the most fun. we keep putting gems on it, like the Fart app. Of course, that's one of my favorites. It's like perhaps my finest work.
Is there a parallel with how you build companies in that story?
I hope not.
Let's see what this thing can do.
Yeah, watch this. That could be awkward with a rocket launch.
I think it's more dangerous to patent than not to patent.
Since our primary competitors are national governments, the enforceability of patents is questionable.
Thanks, Elon. And I don't believe you about the aliens.
I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I hope they're like, well, if they are here, I hope they're nice. You know, they haven't killed us yet, so they must be not that bad.
The Valley, accurate or not accurate?
The show?
Yeah.
It starts to get very accurate around episode 4. Like, you know, when they're like first launched like a 747 or DC-3 or something like that, I bet the chief engineer was like, I can't believe that thing's flying.
Thought on how to approach new industries, innovative areas, and when's the right time to jump in or not? Or do you just, is there no crystal ball, or is it a crystal ball or a Ouija board? I mean, how do you figure out what you should go after?
Well, definitely the Ouija board, of course. Much more reliable than the crystal. Yeah. I actually met a woman I dated briefly in college, who now works at Scientific American as a writer, and she related the anecdote that we went on a date. All I was talking about was electric cars. That was not a winning conversation.
So it was a bit of a monologue, was it?
Yeah, she said she said the first question I asked her was, "Do you ever think about electric cars?" She said, "No, she never does."
So you learn from that. That wasn't the best shout-out line.
Wasn't great. But it has recently it's been more effective.
There you go. I know this man.
I find Twitter quite engaging.
How do you have the time?
Well, I mean, it's like 5 minutes every couple hours type thing. It's not like I'm sitting on it all day.
But how? I mean, on a regular day for you, are you sleeping? You're not sleeping a lot, right?
Well, geez, do I look that bad?
The new Crew Dragon design is be able to land propulsively with precision, which I think is kind of the next generation. Like if you consider the first generation was parachutes to a water landing, then arguably sort of wings and gear, landing legs, landing gear. Then like the sort of third generation is propulsive landing with precision. I mean, if you saw a movie about the future with aliens landing, how do they land? Like that. Okay, obviously, they don't like, I mean, it'd be kind of weird if the aliens landed in the ocean with parachutes and be like, okay, nothing to fear.
Are you now like, fuck no, I am not starting another company? Or are you still thinking that?
Yes, that's how I feel. That is.
Maybe discovered by some future alien race, thinking, what the heck, what were these guys doing? Did they worship this car? Why do they have a little car in the car? That'll really confuse them.
That picture at the end is a picture of one of the circuit boards inside the Roadster, right?
We try to confuse the aliens as much as possible.
I remember when you first told me that you were thinking about tunnels.
When did I first tell you about that?
Years ago.
Okay, it's like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like
I thought you were joking.
Yeah, it was. I was joking, but.
What about government policies? Like one of the things that I would like to do is I would just like to keep working on my email as I'm driving to work.
Sure.
You know, there's a 30.
Some people do that already.
Like I said, I would like to do it without breaking the law.
Oh, yes. And he's a designer, so he's good at sort of the styling of the cars, but he thinks it's all about styling, and it's not. It's really, this is, the reason we don't have electric cars is not for lack of styling.
Right.
With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
We were first talking about the concept. Tunnels feel like a resolutely old school solution to a problem.
I'm sad that I invented tunnels. You're not likely to sort of end up eating your compatriots in a snowy situation. So you can just take the train. We also have the most energy efficient cars in the world. So this is the EPA miles per kilowatt hour. And you can see the Model 3 is at around 4. And then it ranges off to the right. I don't want to pick on the e-tron, but it's there's room for improvement. So, etron. All right. If you speak French, that's quite funny.
There are people who've been in the rocketry business for decades who say about you that you don't know what you don't know.
Well, I suppose that's true of anyone. How can anyone know what they don't know?